Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a book review for The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson. But before we go ahead and get on into the review, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new content. I post new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down in the description box below for links to my Patreon, where I do book giveaways, as well as my Amazon storefront, where I list all the books that I talk about on my channel and really enjoyed. The Sunlit Man is Brandon Sanderson's secret project 4 from the year of Sanderson. My husband was sweet enough to get this for me for my birthday last year, so I have been receiving his swag boxes as well as his secret project special edition books. So I have a whole playlist of all of my unboxings as well as any book reviews that I've done so far for the secret project, so I will link that up in the cards as well as in the description box below. The way that I structure my reviews is I talk about what the book is about, the things I liked, the things that I didn't like, and then I give the book an overall rating. So if you're interested in skipping to any particular section, I will put timestamps down below, as well as anytime I discuss spoilers. First off, I did not know that the Sunlit Man was following a character already established in Brandon's Cosmere, because when I read Tess of the Emerald Sea, she was a new character, so I thought that this was going to be similar. But the Sunlit Man actually follows Nomad, and Nomad is Sigil from the Stormlight Archives. And if you have not read the Stormlight Archives, if you have not read Dawn Shard specifically, which is a novella that goes with the Stormlight Archives, then I feel like you will have a lot of trouble following along with this story. So luckily I have read all the way through Rhythm of War and I have read Dawn Shard, and it just kind of jarred me when the main character Nomad started talking about all of these things, and I'm like, who is this Nomad? I thought this was a new character. No, this is not a new character. This is Sigil. So I feel like if you have not been caught up all the way through Dawn Shard and you jump into this, not only will you be spoiled, but like you will have trouble understanding everything that's going on, especially Sigil's like inner turmoil, especially the reason that he is running from the Night Brigade, all of that. Anyways, but we are actually following Nomad, or Sigil, as he is running from the Night Brigade because he had in his possession at one time the Dawn Shard. And he ends up on this planet called Canticle. And he is unable to escape Canticle. And what he learns about this planet is that it's very odd. So the sun, every single rotation, actually burns away part of their planet, and they are constantly on the run from like the rising sun. But it does work with the planet because they're still able to live, they're still able to grow things, and they actually get their power from the sun. And the whole investiture or magic system of this planet has to do with the sun and people's souls. So the way that they get their power in this civilization is that when people die, they leave their bodies out for the sun to basically evaporate, and what's left after the sun destroys their body is a sun heart. And in their sun heart is essentially their soul, and they burn these sun hearts for power. So this tyrant has arisen called the Cinder King, and he is sacrificing people to the sun to get these sun hearts so that he can have more power and overtake other parts of this world. And it's a very, very small world, like physically small. So Nomad finds his way onto this planet and ends up getting enmeshed in the fight against the Cinder King. So nothing on this planet had anything to do with him beforehand, and really doesn't now. He just chooses to help these people because he knows things about science and investiture that this civilization has not yet discovered. So he tries to help them overthrow the Cinder King. So going on into the things I liked, it was nice to have like a continuation of a story from an already established character, but at the same time, it would have been kind of cool to be introduced to a new character. So that really depends on what you're looking for in this story, whether you like that or not. I personally like both. So I did enjoy being back with a character that I already knew, as well as having him bring back those pieces from the previous stories and kind of weave them into this new story. I really enjoyed the world building of this planet and this story. Even though it was such a short story, Brandon used his, amazing world building skills to make a world that was both engaging, cool, different, and something like I've never read before. And the way that he is able to think of different ways that investiture can be used and how it manifests itself in these different worlds is just mind-blowing to me. He is so creative. Also, I have realized that Brandon has definitely passed into the genre of sci-fi fantasy because he has advanced his world hundreds and hundreds of years. So we are at a point where the characters are more technologically advanced than they've ever been. So if I'm thinking back to like the world of the original Mistborn or the original or Elantris or Warbreaker, all of those books, like the technology that they had in those books is not on par with what we have in his current works. So as he is expanding his world and developing these stories, time is passing and we're getting more technology that is using investiture. And I saw that in the second era Mistborn because like 300 years has passed, but like I saw it a lot in this book too, because this civilization uses like hover cars and hover cities, and they are utilizing sources of power to run these hover cars and hover cities. And then we also like tie in the people from Scadrial, so the world of Mistborn. So in this book, we see that the people from Scadrial, these scientists and these researchers of investiture, have actually arrived on this planet and have been on this planet for a long time, studying the people of Canticle, studying the investiture of the planet. And like they understand things technologically wise that the people of Canticle don't yet understand because they are so much more advanced. So it's just really interesting that Brandon has gotten to a place where he has evolved his world so much that now we have characters that are looking at other worlds as they grow and develop in their civilizations. And this book definitely spent a lot of time explaining the connection between science as we know it and how Brandon uses real life physics and things that we know and how he involves that in his world to explain how his magic system works. So that's what I mean when I say he has definitely crossed over into the realm of sci-fi fantasy. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, do I like this? Do I like that we have gotten so advanced technologically? Is it even fantasy anymore? Because I really enjoy sword and sorcery fantasy, and that was definitely what I think his original works were, more so than now. And I haven't decided. I haven't decided. As for the things that I didn't like so much, so the Cinder King was just your typical bad guy. He was a tyrant. He rose to power because he found a way to oppress other people. There was really no depth to him at all. He was just your typical villain from a superhero movie. So I would have liked to see a more developed character. And then we did have Nomad. So Nomad definitely has a lot of inner conflicts going on. And he definitely was more complex than the Cinder King. But at the same time, I felt like he was just your regular hero. Like he came to this planet, he had just the superhero complex because he was dealing with inner conflicts, unsure of himself, ends up saving an entire civilization of people, has weapons and armor that aren't from their world, and then leaves that world when he's done saving them. So for me, like in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm watching a Marvel movie because it just was very, very superhero-ish. And I'm going to show you one of the drawings in here, one of the art illustrations. Like it just kind of gives me superhero vibes so much. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's a gorgeous drawing. I'm not knocking the art itself. I'm like, that just looks like Iron Man or Thor. I know it's him, but it just is superhero. That's all it reminds me of. So when we're talking about traditional like archetypes, this book is full of them with regards to like the villain and the hero. Nomad's kind of an anti-hero. So just know going in that this book is full of those type of archetypes. Then regarding the other characters, we do have a side character named Rebecca and then her sister named Elegy. And I liked both of these characters. Brandon did try to spin Elegy's story to make it a bit more complex. And towards the end of the book, we do get scenes from her point of view. And I'm wondering if he's going to use Elegy in future works because it seems like he was trying to develop her and give her her own story because he was going to involve her in future books. So that might be a thing, and if it is, that'd be cool. And the last thing I didn't like was there was too many action scenes for my taste. This is just a personal preference, has nothing to do with like the writing or anything like that. But when there's too many action scenes for me, I find myself skimming those scenes, and that's exactly what happened in this book. It just reminded me of watching like a Mission Impossible movie or Jason Bourne, where it's just action scene, action scene, action scene, and I get bored. But this book at times did remind me of those type of movies, which is why I found myself skimming some of those scenes. Okay, you guys, that is it for my review of The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson. I ended up enjoying this book. It was fun. I liked the different tie-ins to the Cosmere. I liked being with Nomad again and kind of being inside his head and hearing his inner struggles, but there definitely was some things lacking with regards to character development for some of the characters, and I ended up giving this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. All right, y'all, let me know your thoughts about The Sunlit Man if you've read it, as well as any of Brandon's other books that you really enjoyed, and I will see you all in another video soon. Goodbye!